Hello everyone, Funky Blood here, and I am making a sequel to the last SMACQ Talk video. This time it's for the month of November
in December
2021, and I am going to review a couple of albums now, so enjoy!
7376.
This is a 2-hour compilation of mashups, 30 tracks, and it's made by over 20 DJs, and I think it's fine. Some production ideas are pretty bad and boring, but for the most part I think it's good. Tracks like Perfect Harmony by Cryptic are bangers, but that's just in my opinion, and there is a lot of variety here that will probably satisfy most likely everyone, and I do respect how this was made by 20 random internet people and put out basically for free, or not for free if you want to buy it on Bandcamp. I don't feel like putting this 30-part track list into a calculator. That would take like at least 20 minutes, and that's too long. So I'm just gonna give it a 6 point. I don't know. That is what I'm showing on the screen right now. It's pretty good. Plafadaf wasn't here. That's my only complaint. The biggest one, at least.
ABBA Voyage.
I probably don't have to explain who ABBA are, right? They are the legendary Swedish disco band that didn't release an album for exactly 40 years. Until now. Currently, everyone from ABBA is over 70 years old, which is pretty old. However, despite the age of everything I just mentioned, Voyage turned out alright. I mean, it's not a classic overall, but you can definitely feel, listening to it, that the spirit of ABBA is still present. So I definitely would say that it is a fantastic ABBA project, but would I say it's a great one on its own? Not really. For one, it's a mixed bag, not only in terms of songwriting, but also concepts put into specific tracks. The second thing is that it's not super engaging from start to finish, despite neat performances from ABBA. And as the third thing, I'd like to point out, and I know it might sound a little nitpicky, but even the best tracks here are fueled by nostalgia, which may not be bad on its own, but I definitely could tell that Voyage was made more for 1970s ABBA fans than regular listeners. I wouldn't say these things ruined this album overall, it's just that they made this LP pretty middle of the road in my opinion. And I am going to give this a 6.3. It was alright, it was great in some aspects.
Angèle, Nonante-Cinq.
As I said in my RageHeroMusic.com review of this LP, this is basically a novelty record, in that all I really got out of it, and I honestly think most people will, is the fact that this is a French produced album, and that's it really. Everything special about it is the French production and charming lead vocals. Everything else is kinda boring really, especially second to last track. And I would still recommend it, but it doesn't leave too much of an impression, except for some tracks, like the opener or the closer. But beyond those, this is just straight sevens. And production is solid, the lead vocals are charming and expressive, and the rap verse by Damso on Demons is cool. But my biggest gripe with this thing is that this is pretty forgettable because it is standard in its sound overall, and it is unique in some ways, but not worth returning to. And I'm going to give it a straight up 7.
Chief Keef, 4 Nem.
If you want to hear a new collection of pretty likable and well-produced tracks from a legendary and influential rapper Chief Keef, then listen to 4 Nem. It's pretty nice. However, I do have a few hangups with it, such as it doesn't really leave too much of an impression, and to me sounds like playlist fodder for the most part, and in my opinion the last 2 tracks should have been left out. The Big Sean one and the On What one, they're pretty mediocre in my opinion, not that well produced either. So yeah, that's that. Very neat, very charming, 6.1 from me.
Converge and Chelsea Wolfe, Bloodmoon 1.
This is a collaborative record between 2 metal legends, and I think it's alright. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I heard, but it also wasn't the best either. And although there definitely were some highlights, like Tanks playing Dead or Coil, where I really liked the riffs and the tone, but unfortunately, despite those 2 things being great all across Bloodmoon, the basic songwriting kinda prevented me from falling in love with everything. It's not that bad anyway. The only track I think is mid is Flower Moon, where the same riffs and vocals keep repeating. The rest is at least decent or great. Also, another nitpick I have is that I don't like that the closer Blood Down halfway through gets silent and then stays like it for 3 minutes, which is 3 minutes too long. I mean, if it was a 10-minute track and there were 3 minutes of silence at the end, that might be better, but about 4 minutes of material and then 3 minutes of nothing, I don't like that kind of a thing at all. I guess it's artistic, but it's not something I like, I guess. And I'm going to give this one a 7.5. Definitely had some 8 out of 10 songs on it, but it was fine. 7 out of 10 fine.
Devon Townsend, The Puzzle.
All I have to say about it is the genre fusions were odd and not all that well done. And if you don't know, the genre fusions I'm talking about are of genres like jazz, electronic music, ambient music, prog rock, and metal. And David has really went above and beyond at making something grand, I guess. And it's odd because most of this record is ambient, this thing is odd. It is proficient, I'll give it that, but it's over an hour and it's not all that great. So I'll give it a 6.3 and I'll just end my ramblings by saying I kinda enjoyed it, but that's it.
dltzk, Frailty.
Listen, all you need to know is that this is an emo, ambient, glitch pop album, a debut, in fact, and it's good. It kinda loses steam at the end, but every track before that is amazing from front to back. The production is great, the vocals are kinda meh, but the production, mwah. Honestly, it's like 10 out of 10 worthy, but the vocals were great at points, although just super dry and got pretty stale after a while. But yeah, this is solid. Listen to everything. There is so much here that is worth a listen, and I am going to give this one a 7.3.
GRAE BODHIS, Changes.
I, as many others, only know about this EP because Fantano, the mastermind that he is, randomly tweeted a link to the single from this EP called You Know, ? Which is pretty good. Don't know why he did that. I guess he thought it was good as well. And I think it's a curious thing, this EP. It's not great per se, but it is worth a listen at least. You Know is particularly good with its sense of groove and production. However, I didn't find the rest of this project to be as cool, as the rest is more mellow and boring really, and I found Bart Simpson to be the most forgettable. And although this EP is just alright overall, there are some neat ideas in here that definitely show potential in them. In GRAE BODHIS or BODHIS, I didn't write them because I don't know how to write them at all. Hopefully, when they release better and longer projects, they will have as big of a presence in the glitch pop field as 100 Gex or something, or someone, or whatever, I don't know. And I'm going to give this thing made by People a 7.4. Give it a listen. And one thing to add is that these guys are so obscure that I literally couldn't find a rateyourmusic.com page for them. So I'm going to link the Spotify playlist for this EP and also the single, You Know, ? Because I don't know what to do besides that, so.
Hanavu, Public Storage.
I am speechless about this. I really am. I guess I could talk about how the riffs were amazing, the lyrics were superb, how the vocals were really potent, or how the pop angle was mostly well handled. That would be my main problem with this project, that some tracks were kind of stuck, in my opinion, specifically Heaven and World's Worst, in that the production at parts was really generic. They didn't end up horrible, but I didn't appreciate them as much as the rest of the album, and man, there is so much to appreciate everywhere else on this record. Oh my god. The title track and Gather, They were just mwah, chef's kiss. Perfect, really. And I could spend a long time explaining my love for this indie pop and rock record, but I'm just gonna call it amazing on almost all fronts and go on with my day. But I suppose this won't be for everybody because I have seen at least one person call it generic. It wasn't to me, but maybe it will be to some people. Wasn't to me. And I'm going to give this one 8.1. It was great, especially tracks I mentioned later on in this review. But I do really recommend it from the bottom of my heart. It was something truly special.
Idols, Crawler.
Despite being produced by Kenny Beats of all people, I found Crawler to be a middling experience, but it's not to say that there weren't any highlights. For example, Stockholm Syndrome or Progress, on which idols either hone in on their positives or use some effects to make a track spectacular. The instrumental performances are solid for the most part, and I guess so are the vocals. However, in my opinion, it's a bit annoying how plain and not special they are at points, and especially when compared to Idol's any previous work. While they are definitely making something a little bit exciting, Crawler to me sounds like them going through the motions with some mild experimenting here and there.
Lil Peep and Harry Fraud, High Fashion.
There isn't too much to talk about here. It's 3 tracks with vocals from a dead dude known for super aggressive trap music on top of some jazz and acoustic production behind him just because Harry Fraud finished them, I guess. It's pretty moody, not that energetic/engaging. The production was whatever, if not unfitting, but I will admit, All to Me was actually good, with it leaving some kind of a statement afterwards, instead of what the second track did, meaning it didn't present a bunch of random S-word sentences just so it can come off as edgy. And I'm going to give this EP a 6, straight up 6. Was inoffensive and alright.
Nas Magic.
So this is a new boom bap album from the legendary rapper Nas, and it's a stand-in for his next project called King's Disease 3, which precedes King's Disease 2 from last year, and I think Magic is alright. It's not amazing, but I think it is good for sure. The production and beats are honestly my biggest gripe with this thing, as they mostly sounded kinda cheap, especially on Woo for the Children, and kinda brought down the whole project as a result. Anyway, Nas's lyricism and rapping is still good. His references are pretty funny, his samples are funny as well. He samples Soulja Boy talking about him at one point, which is hilarious. On this project, Nas goes back in time and talks about his past and the black community's past. And he does a good job with that. Yeah, there's not too much cohesion here. It's not about magic. The album is only called Magic because Nas felt magical when he created music for it, and That is the reason, I guess. Also, on the couple of last tracks, some lines are referencing magic tricks, so that's nice. Anyway, the last track is the best one, and I'm going to give this one a 7.4.
R.A.P. Ferreira, the light emitting diamond cutter scriptures.
I liked it. It's not a 10 out of 10, but I do think it is somewhat amazing. The beats are fantastic, the production is fantastic, the tone of Ferreira's voice is great. There are definitely tracks I would give a 9 out of 10, like Hyperion or Black Mission Figs, where the production is just so top notch. I get a smile on my face every time I hear them, honestly. And while it is great in pretty much almost every aspect, it is pointless at some points. It's hard to say, but it's very low impact, but it's not bad. It's hard to put into words, but I guess I'll say what it goes for, it does well. I'm just going to say it's a 7.8. It wants to be an ambient hip-hop project, and I don't know what to make of it, I guess.
Richard Dawson in Circle, Henki.
I'm not an expert on folk and rock fusions, or folk even, but I really did enjoy Henki. Every element is great, and I guess the only reason why people wouldn't want to listen to it is because every track is over 5 minutes and over 10 minutes, some more. But if you want something pretty complex, pretty in the moment, pretty spectacular, listen to it. Richard's high-pitched vocals are amazing throughout, and the production is great as well. So, yeah, 8.7 from me. Listen to it.
Rick Ross, Richer Than I've Ever Been.
Despite Rick Ross having a very clear talent and mainstream success, this is a pretty mediocre record. I mean, the production is okay, his rapping is okay, his lyricism is okay, and it all sounds pretty grand, pretty spectacular. However, the track list is either overdramatic or boring or both, and the last two tracks are very rushed. They don't sound good at all and bring this whole project down as if every track before them did already. And there definitely was some BS behind the scenes, even evidenced by the cover change, and I think the last two tracks are just slapped together for this project. And yeah, this is mediocre. 4.8 from me.
RX Papi and Good, Foreign Exchange.
This one is kinda hard to put into words. It's basically combining death grips, cloud rap, and trap. It's that moody and aggressive at the same time. However, the main rapper sounds more like MC Ride if MC Ride took his pills before recording. I'm mostly gonna be describing how I felt after listening to it, because there's not that much to it. It's basically a couple of tracks, 20 minutes, some very spacious production, and very, very raw and aggressive vocals that I like. However, they did become basic after a certain point. Both the vocals and the production, which is what I would have said if it wasn't for the fact that I found the second part to have more bangers than the first half. What a twist. Yeah, the second half has more structure to it, and I like it even more than the first half because it is not as stale. It's a bunch of tracks, some of them I like more than others, and I respect it more than I like it, and I like it quite a bit already. So there's a lot of respect from me here. But yeah, this is pretty one note at points, and it is unique, but I hope one day we'll see someone put out a masterpiece while being influenced by it, cause there is a lot of potential in the musical ideas here. And I am going to give this one a 6.1. What? No, 7.8. I'm thinking of something else. Again, listen to it if you want something pretty much out there as possible in the current meta of musical experimentation, I guess. And I'm not super hype about it, but some tracks I do find great. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it beyond that. So yeah. 7.8 from me.
Sega Bodega Romeo.
My god, there are a lot of reasons why Romeo is great. The production is superb with how it combines quite a few genres like pop, ambient, electronic music, UK bass and alternative R&B, also some emo influences pop up here and there. It's just spectacular, really. All of the applied vocal effects like reverb are super well done, the performances from everyone involved are terrific and the experience as a whole is worth checking out. I love it a ton and I suggest you try this as well. And I'm going to give this an 8.2.
Silk Sonic, An Evening with Silk Sonic.
This is a collaboration between Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, and it has a lot of hype behind it, and I think it's alright. I don't think it's the best thing in the world anymore after listening to it more than a few times, and it is still great in some aspects, for sure. The two guys definitely have chemistry here, and the instrumentation is for the most part amazing. And I'll just say it, some tracks here definitely are 10 out of 10 worthy. However, I don't think it is the best all throughout. And again, there are some great tracks, but there are also some tracks I am pretty meh on, like After Last Night or 777, which every time I listen to them, I just think they get staler and staler and staler, and I don't think they're great anymore. I don't know what to say beyond that. There are singles from here and I think all of them are great. Beyond that, it's a classic for sure, but it's not one of the best albums of the year in my opinion. And I am going to give this one a straight up 7.
Snail Mail, Valentine.
Boring, plain, bland, forgettable, mild, non-essential is how I would describe this new Snail Mail project. Valentine. It is so not interesting at all to me. It just sounds boring, and that's it. There were some highlights like the title track or Automate, where Snail Mail's songwriting actually pulls through with something great and enjoyable, but the rest is just 5 out of 10 or below, or maybe 6 out of 10. And maybe if you're 14, then maybe you'll like this. If you want something vaguely sad but not too aggressive, just I guess listen to it. But if you're an average listener, then this is stereotypical for a singer-songwriter record in every way possible. I do not recommend it at all. Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 5.3. It was whatever.
Trigot, Jodki.
I'm not an expert on this, but isn't math rock supposed to leave you with an experience you'd want to return to? Because this just sounds like a mess. The instrumentation is whack, the vocals are just messy, and the structure is just not working for me at all. There is definitely passion in every element, but it does not translate in a way that would make it listenable to me. But enjoyable, I mean, whatever. I will admit this is the first tricot project I have ever tried, and maybe I'm not used to them or something, but I do enjoy Deer Hoof and Quiero Quiero Bonito, and they are or can be classified as J-rock bands as well. So I guess the first thing, I don't know. So yeah, there were definitely highlights, but a lot of messes, and I am just very mixed overall. 5.3 from me.
Wczasy. To wszystko kiedyś minie.
So this is a duo I haven't heard of before. I only found out about them because I found them on Bandcamp and on Rate Your Music, and just listen to this release because of it, and I think it's pretty good. The most tracks in the middle kinda drag. The production is good all throughout it, but I don't think it's a great project. Also, I kinda have to talk about the track Poland. It is so filled with delusion that it's comedic. It says that there's no inflation. If you go out in a dress when you're a man, you'll be accepted into society, and other stuff like it. It's like ironic, but it's not bad. So I like it, but it is so out there I cannot not talk about it. And I'm going to give this one a 6.9.
The end.
So that's that for this video. I don't know if I will make normal videos like FB's review talk for a while, because they require a lot of focus, and I try to think about making them, but not really end up making them because I either have other tasks or I just don't feel like it. And I will probably try to make a SMACQ talk of January and February of 2022. If not, I will make of even more months when I can, because the final exams are right around the corner, and I will probably have to study for at least some of it. So in the next few months there will be even less videos than usual, and I have stagnated for the last month or so, and I know that. I'm sorry, I probably will even more, but in summer I probably will start picking things up again. I don't know, I hope, I not really promise. And so yeah, I enjoy whatever I made here, and I don't know. See you in the next video whenever that happens. Whenever I make it and release one. So yeah, bye, and video over.